Hello, welcome in. This is Cynthia with your daily tarot card of the day. This week we are using the Sacred Geometry Tarot, and I have information about this deck in the description box below. I'm being guided to do, we have a very strong, powerful full moon, supermoon coming up in a couple of days at the time that I'm recording this. These messages are timeless. They are general for the collective, so take what resonates, leave the rest of it behind. However, at the time that you're watching this, even if there isn't a full moon or a super moon coming up, there could still be a message here for you. I'm being guided to tune into the energy of this full super moon and pull 3 cards. It looks like the first is out here. It's almost like 3 days of the full moon is kind of what I'm getting. So I might not have individual card of the day picks because the messages in this video are going to span today, tomorrow, the day after. So it's a three for one. All right, Spirit. Tomorrow and the day after. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Oops, move the pendulum. Okay. Here, let's turn this one this way. Can you see all of that? I think you can see all of that. So again, take what resonates and leave the rest. These are general messages for the collective. And, you know, above all else, tune into your own intuition, your own inner guidance, your own spirit guides, your own higher self, however you look at it, and see what kind of messages that you might receive from these cards. The first one for today is number 54, June Companions. So, aside from June being the summer solstice, and this full moon could be bringing up things that occurred in the summer solstice, the most recent one from whenever you're watching it. Dragonflies and butterflies. So dragonfly, there's a sense of mysticism and spirituality. So these things could be highlighted for you personally, feeling a connection to nature in a very kind of, wow, I'm blessed sort of a way. The butterflies being transformation. The combined message of both of these is really that everything always changes. There is nothing permanent. Every single breath that you take, you're changing. every moment, everything changes. Now, our logical ego minds likes to see the chronology of things and certain stable things, stable and permanent. This is talking about if you are, whether you're changing a situation or a relationship or something within yourself or your life. It could be habits, it could be mindset, it could be changing jobs, it could be changing relationship dynamics, working on healing, changing health, changing habits, right? Whatever kind of a transformation you're going through, just realize that what you are leaving behind is an illusion. And you're going into another illusion. Like, dragonfly medicine can be about illusion, recognizing that the truth that underlies all things is unconditional love, source energy, light energy, vibration, right? And all of those things can fluctuate. There can be harmony and there can be discord, and that's all okay. But when you're trying to make certain changes, and when you yourself are healing or transforming in some way, it's an opportunity to let go of the past and step into the new. And our logical ego mind, and sometimes our creative emotional ego mind, left brain, right brain, right? That can come up with a lot of fears and emotions around it. And we need to realize that those fears and a lot of the superficial emotions, or a lot of the mindset that's around, well, is this reasonable? Is this logical? What are other people going to say? Like, all of that stuff, that's all an illusion. The truth is, you're healing, you're changing, you're transforming. That's a good thing. And you can let the old go and embrace the new. Because it's always transforming and it's always changing. And the idea is to get centered and grounded enough and to surrender to some of the changes enough, even if we feel emotions and fears and this, that, the other thing. Some of them we have to heal and work through. Other times we need to say, okay, I acknowledge the fact that I feel that way, but I'm going to do this anyway because I know that it's the natural flow of who I am as a person, right? You need to run with that and just recognize that things are flowing, that there are moving. And when we get a handle on that, we can deliberately allow the changes and transformations that naturally occur, instead of fighting them or trying to keep them from happening or trying to control them the way somebody else says that they should be controlled. We can flow with them and steer them towards what in our hearts we believe is the truest, rightest, best thing for us. So this seems to be bringing through this combination. And number 34? Number 34. So 3 is creativity, change, and transformation. 4 is orderliness, structure. It's kind of like what we're, the mold that we're pouring our energy into, so to speak. But we have to be the creator of that, nobody else. And 3 + 4 is 7, which is a wisdom number. And it's talking about, deeply looking at our philosophies, our spiritualities, learning, sharing, teaching, right? But trusting our own inner wisdom, our own guidance for how this process is going to play out. Because it's a natural process that happens all the time. It's just that most of the time we feel at the whim of forces outside of ourselves, when really all of these forces are within us, and we are constantly changing as they are. We just don't always recognize that about ourselves. And when our ego mind, whether it's the creative ego mind or whether it's the logical ego mind, kind of come together and team up to bring up, bring up the past, which is an illusion because it's gone. The future is technically an illusion also. So worries of the future or fears from the past, that can mess with our present transformation if we let it. And so it's like trusting your own inner wisdom that you're going through this process and that you're allowing these changes to occur because you're deliberately pointing yourself towards your own North Star, towards your own inner guidance. Tomorrow's energy. 51, Octagon. Did we have this one earlier this week? Another reminder to stop and take pause, to slow down, and to have the awareness of, while going through changes and transformations, to have the awareness of what's going on all around you, this self-awareness, this recognition of all, not just the 4 cardinal directions, but also the cross-quarter directions. And so we have north, south, east, and west. Then we also have northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest, right? So the idea being that when you're at the center of that and you pause, centered and grounded for a moment, you can see combinations in every different direction. Maybe for somebody this has messages about the medicine wheel or a wisdom wheel from a particular tradition that looks at the different directions. And that could be bringing you information as well. The 5 being changes and transformations again, and the 1 being that steadiness, that you can hold yourself, that you can be unified within yourself, spirit, mind, and body, centered and grounded. And the 5 plus 1 being the 6, and you're balancing the give and take, paying attention to boundaries by recognizing what's around you, allowing yourself to expand from your comfort zone, but also being able to sort of take responsibility in the sense of, I'm not talking responsibility in terms of like chores or tasks or actions or what have you, but in terms of honoring our agreements with others or with situations, honoring our agreement with ourselves in terms of where our boundaries are, balancing the give and take between things. And that comes from that centeredness and that self-awareness of where you're at in your transformation, and recognizing, the past and the future illusions, because it's the present moment and it's the transformations. And you can honor who you are and who you are becoming by not letting the past hold you back. When you acknowledge that maybe you made a mistake, or maybe you mishandled something that came into your experience, the responsibility then, your ability to respond, is in the next decision that you're going to make. And that kind of releases the past and how you're going to respond to a situation or a relationship right now. Not based on the past, not based on what you did yesterday or a year ago, because who you were yesterday or a year ago has obviously shifted, changed, transformed. So this energy of change and transformation in this upcoming full moon really seems to be transforming our perspective and getting centered and aware of who we are, and sort of releasing ourselves from being tied to past or future, and being very much in the present, and being very much centered and grounded. And finally, number 2, mandala. I'm drawn to, I don't know if this is supposed to be a sun or a moon, but it's almost like moon opposite the sun. That's what creates a full moon, right? So I'm feeling like this sense of, you know, and our whole life, our whole planet is a medicine wheel, is a wisdom wheel. So that brings me back to the different directions, right? You might want to take a screenshot of this and meditate on it. Mandalas are meant to be a focal point, for a visual focal point for meditation. I'm seeing, like, you know, it could be cloudy, but staying centered in the eye of the storm and letting all of these waves ripple through seems to be key. This also reminds me of the World card in the tarot, because I'm seeing different symbols in the corners. Like, what is that? Stars, and it almost looks like a lizard. That almost looks like faces, maybe even an infant. Inner child work could be important for somebody right now. As much as I saw this as the sun and this as the moon, there's a split in the coloring here, which makes this like the yellow sunlight. This almost looks like a moon, a crescent moon, and the lightning. So there could be something here about silver lining. There's definitely something here about powerful healing, and it takes some time, and you need to allow yourself and others the grace and the time to go within and to transform. And sometimes when somebody's transforming, if we're so absorbed in our own transformations and in trying to get something done, we don't always recognize that they could be going through similar energies, but in their own way, because everybody has their own path. So there's a certain recognition here of, yes, we're all one, but we're all manifest as individuals with our own individual light ray, our own individual thread, our own individual path. And so we need to honor that in regards to others. We might not know exactly who they are or where they're going. Even when we're deeply connected, say like family or friends or, you know, soul tribe, or however you want to describe it. But they're still on their own path. I mean, we have to honor their individuality and validate and acknowledge that, as much as we have to validate and acknowledge the fact that all is one energy. And there really isn't a paradox or an opposition there. The moon is reflecting the sunlight. But just because they're in astrological opposition doesn't mean that it's not the same light, right? The number 2 also reminds me of, I know I said that the depiction reminded me of the World card in the tarot, but the number 2 in the tarot is the high priestess. And so this is very much of a deep inner knowing and a connection to our inner wisdom, our higher self. So definitely take some time over the next few days for some very personal meditations in order to work with this energy, balancing, you know, whatever transformations you're going on in your own experience, being present and centered, allowing yourself to take some rest or to take some time. And I don't just mean sitting on the couch and, streaming movies and snacking, but rest, true rest from social rest, physical rest, emotional rest, mental rest, right? Where you're finding a quiet space that goes beyond meditation. It's just sitting there, and can you just sit there and let yourself be without necessarily doing anything for a space of time? 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. Just without anything calling your attention or evoking a response from you. And the best place to do that, I think personally, is out in nature. But if you have a little comfortable nook in your house, or a lawn chair on the patio, just sitting there and acknowledging what's around you in your immediate environment and letting yourself just be there. So that could also be a form of sort of mindfulness meditation, just letting yourself sit and be and observe what's going on around you. So the energy of the next few days, definitely of transformation, being present and centered in the moment, and remembering to take time to meditate and to rest in whatever fashion truly feels best to you, and trusting your own intuition, really connecting to your own inner guidance and sense of presence and beingness. That seems to be very important for the next few days as we lead up to this full moon, because its energies seem to be very strong for a lot of us, especially those of us who are sensitive to it. But, they could be strong in the lives of those who are not necessarily sensitive to it on a vibrational level. It's still influencing you. And no matter what it is that you're doing, just take a moment to consider the fact that, maybe it is. Maybe I am changing. Maybe things are shifting. Maybe that's why this isn't working. Or maybe that's where this wonderful blessing's coming from. And maybe I need a deeper appreciation of that. Or whatever the case might be. So you could be very much in your world, tuned into it, or unaware that it is having such a strong impact. But if you at least take a few minutes to ground yourself, meditate, get centered, rest, then you might either gain an illumination. It's illuminating something for you, and you'll have an aha moment, or it would allow you to gain a deeper appreciation for, I'm getting this sense of just like a deeper appreciation for life, one of those wake up in the morning and, oh, I'm thank you for my breath. I'm thankful for, the sunlight, listening to the birds sing, or feeling the breeze on your face when you're walking out to the car in the morning to get into work, and you're just feeling that sense of life is good, a deep, connected sense of that. So I feel like that kind of energy is available to all of us, even in the midst of transformations and potential difficulties, or even surprising blessings. The good stuff can throw us off balance and stress us out as much as the bad stuff. So it really is all in perspective, how you're going to look at something. But being centered and self-aware does seem to be the key. So I wish you all a lot of peace and blessings. Absolutely wonderful. I will be back next week. So in the next couple of days, you will see me again. Thank you so much for being here. Lots of peace and blessings to all of you.